Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. What a privilege to welcome the Sabbath together on this Yom Shishi. Take a minute and just notice where you are. How the week has washed over you. What has been overflowing blessings. And what are you ready to let go of? Notice where you are. Breathe in possibility and gratitude. Shabbat Menucha. And Shabbat peace. As we pray together this evening, if you have our Siddur Mishkan Tfilah at home, we are continuing on page 125. And if you are eager to use a digital copy, please look below the live stream link, and there you will see a PDF of our Siddur. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. 129. ואני לא הרואה בשושנים, הודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מפרד מור ולבונה, מור ולבונה. הודי לי הרואה בשושנים הודיע לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים אחותי קלה לבבתי קלה תודיעי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים תודיעי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים אורי צפון ובואי תימן אורי צפון ובואי תימן לי 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 li 130 Psalm 95 Latzor yishenu bizmirot narialo lechun narana lechun neranena lechun neranena ladonai lechun neranena lechun neranena lechun neranena ladonai One 121 Martin Buber teaches us, help me to perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself shalem, whole, so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihadlik ner shel Shabbat. And so we understand that ordinary people can be angels, messengers of the Most High. They go about their task in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, if they had not done what they did, we would not be who we are. It would not be how it is now. We would not be who we are now. Never forget that you too, yourself may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over lifetimes. Minhag HaMakom, our tradition to recognize the angels in our midst, those first responders who have protected us through this COVID pandemic. These nurses, Maria Delaparte, Christina Dubois, Teresa Eggers, Teresa Esposita, Lindsay Miller, Jay Montier, Cindy Pomerantz, Joni Savego, Lucinda Siegel, Christina Snell, Amy Staley, Ashley Wallace, Ben Wilder, Elisa Williams. These doctors, Linda Brandon, Amy Cagulo, Joe Cohn, Shani David, Elliot Dresnick, Lee Gerson Friedman, Nick Friedman, Stephen Grossman, Elon Haley, Jan Hoyt, Roger Husted, Steve Kaplan, Martin Krakauer, Howie Leifer, Liz Levine, Aaron Daniel Levitt, Elle Levitt, Noah Alexander Levitt, Richard Levy, Matt Lordy, Hannah Mittenberg, Wendy Parrish, Steve Schwartz, Jody Sumber, Andrew Yanowski. These healthcare professionals, Yisrael Aga, Dara Clausen, Bar Levi Romer, Katie Monsky, Joe Schwendeman, Amy Skorka, Maureen Terranova, Jaron Whittam. These first responders, Ryan Coletti, Mark Donchek, Steve Fleischer, Don Hughes, Karen Leader, Abe Markovitz, Anthony Schleuderer, Russell Seymour, Kahana Skalnick. These educational heroes and professionals, Sandy Albelli, Cindy Binney, Cara Levine Brenner, Carolyn Cernitsky, Lauren DePola, Molly Levine Hunt, Jim Hunt, Tammy Logan, Joanne Miller, Tracy Pollack, Cameron Robb, Lauren Rose, Erin Swan, Sue Worthman, Karen Zrake, Brett Zuckerman. These social workers and mental health professionals, Andrew Binney, Charlie DeGeorge, Anastasia Duval, Leonetti, Jana Lee Fish, Dara Heinlein, Deb Jones, Stephen Kahn, Lauren Pettis, Julie Stein Mikowski, Ty Markle, Sherry Tessler. These grocery staff, personnel, technicians, mechanics, and transportation professionals, Jill Smith, Mike Becker, Matt Wilder, Mike Brewer, Brian Lestrange, Danny Miller. We celebrate you. We hold you in our prayers for peace and wholeness. We share our gratitude.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharit, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharit, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom,
Malachi HaShalom,
Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem L'Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyonim, Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
138, as we pray Lecha Dodi, this poetry was written in Tzfat in the 16th century by mystics. Tonight, this evening in Tzfat, and in the Tel Aviv port, and in the Akko port, and in Gaza, as Palestinians and Jews look out at the ocean, look out at the hills unfolding in the Galilee. There is a ceasefire. Lecha Dodi, paragraphs 1 and 2, 5 and 9, when we stand and face the entrance to the synagogue at the 9th and final paragraph, we welcome the other, the stranger, the one who hasn't found their place yet, to come in and to have a place with us. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmianu el hamichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemu tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lekrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor habracha, merosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tefila. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Paragraph 5, Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Hiva Orech Kumi Uri, Uri Uri, Shira Beri, Avod Adonai, Alayich Nigila. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, ka b'simcha u'b'tohala, toch emunei am segula. Boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi, Lekrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
144.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברך חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר, ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
146. There is one who sings the song of her own life, finding everything within herself. There is one who leaves the circle of his self and sings the song of his people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech.
La 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 la.
The mystery and the miracle of nature as it renews, unfolds, and blesses. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim,
ובתבונה משנה חיטים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם, ברקיע כרצונו. יה לה 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 בורא יום ולילה, כולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום, ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me? Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Otamcha avta Amcha avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבת אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'ol Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. 159, Birkat Geula, partnering with, being companioned by and companioning the Sacred One. Sing the song of all people, joined in understanding and respect. The song of the Creator's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for all the children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace, 158. Lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, nora tehilot osei fele. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, ve'eli anu ve'amru, ve'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. 160. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, spread over us your canopy of peace. Line 3 of the Hebrew. We welcome peace. We open our hearts to peace. We ask for peace when we bless one another with peace. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha, ufros
165. Prayer invites HaShekhinah's presence to suffuse our spirits, HaShekhinah's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. 164.
Open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 la, ya 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 la la.
Tfilat Amidah Belachash, in a whisper, traditionally through page 180, finding the prayer of your heart. Be certain to whisper loud enough that you can be mindful of the prayer that arises. We reach for you, our source. from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the wind. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary of the soul. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need quiet spaces to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds, against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. 178.
Shalom, Rav Yisrael, Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom, Rav Yisrael, Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. V'tov be'einecha levarich et amcha Yisrael b'chol ituv chosha b'shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai Osei HaShalom.
371, we pray Amisha Berach, a prayer for healing for those members of our community who are struggling with the challenges of body and soul. Israel Aga, David Anderson, Amanda Batista, Susan Bosch, Jenny Bryant, Tom Burrows, Audrey Cohn, Barbara Cohn, Robert Cohn, Adele Corvin, Tyler Corvin, Louis Costello, Bob Davis, Yehuda Ben Leah V'chaim, John Gautier, Joy Gross, Ron Hall, Anna Hernandez, Joe Horowitz, Darren Jacobs, Judy Jacobs, Seth Kerr, Andrea Klein, Mary Jane Klein, Lou Klein, Leah Levine Olaya, Paula Markovitz, Reverend Michelle Meach, Joe Michaels, Moshe Yosef, Howard Pellet, Stephanie Payusko, Carla Friedman, Ellie Edelwitz, Tony Rosenstein, Robin Stone, Ellen Vogeloff, George Wells, Celeste, Jaron, Aaron, Jacob and Zachary Whittam, Ben Wilder, Phyllis Woolfield, Gretchen Zimmerman. Continued healing and strength to Tad Albelli, Tommy Anderson, Bonnie Amantro, John Bennett, Joe Callie, Michael Corvin, Terrence Demicho, Steve Fine, Cheryl Fitzsimmons, Barbara Gallagher, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Valerie Henderson, George Jones, Danny Joseph, Anita Cantor, Heather Kiteja, Levy Corley, Charlie Lippman, Naomi Laurie, David Mallon, Joan Moore, Ann Murkoff, Catherine Nicholson, Nevan Newsy, Orly Batsvia Vachaya, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Dave Rosenthal, Evie Rosenthal, Kyle Rothke, Barbara Salberg, Henry Sanderson, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Searles, Sloan Shortley, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Elaine Trott, Mark Trott, Sandy Weiner, Karen Wilder, Luca Williams, the Livingston House staff and residents.
Mi sheberach avotinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imotinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our
and
prayer.
bless us
As
well. Bless us with the power of your healing.
Bless us with the power of your hope.
May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotinu, mi sheberach imotinu. Hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
It was the practice of the Levites who served as the assistants to the Kohanim to wash their hands before removing their shoes. And then they would go and stand before the ark. In congregations today, this is sometimes referred to as duchaning. Traditionally, the Kohanim would stand on a duchan, an elevated platform. Today, those who see themselves as the descendants of the Kohanim have this tradition to come forward in the synagogue and to wrap themselves in their talit. And wrapped in their talitot, the Kohanim would be led by the leader who would say each word of the blessing of the priestly benediction. Word for word, the Kohanim would make the symbol that has become famous by Leonard Nimoy, the symbol of the Kohanim, as they would chant the threefold blessing.
Yivarechecha
Yivarechecha
Adonai
Adonai
v'yishmerecha
V'yishmerecha
Yair
Ya'er
Adonai
Adonai
Anav
Alav
Elecha
Elecha
V'chunecha
V'chunecha
Yisa
Isa
Adonai
Adonai
Anav
Anav
Elecha
Elecha
V'yisat V'yaseh
V'yaseh
Lecha
Lecha
Shalom
Shalom.
So I imagine that you are aware that Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly benediction, the threefold blessing, appears in this week's parasha, Parashat Naso. What you may not be aware of is that Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly benediction, is one of humanity's oldest prayer texts. We find that it was in use as early as the 7th century BCE in Jerusalem. Birkat Kohanim, the Kohanim's blessing, the threefold blessings from Numbers chapter 6, 24 through 26. But what is a blessing? And who delivers blessings? And when does one deliver a blessing? And why does one deliver a blessing? I remember as a child thinking about the conundrum of war, when warring factions, each preparing to fight their adversary, to enter into battle against the other, each evoking the divine protection from the source. Absurd. How could both sides be asking from the one for divine protection? And do we human beings even have the power to bless? Do we have the power to compel the sacred will, or to conjure, to contemplate, or to invite even the sacred presence into our midst? So in ancient times, in the temple, Birkat HaKohanim, the priestly benediction, was presented 2 times a day in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And the priests would bless the people. Numbers 6:23, Ko tivarchu, thus shall you bless.
But Isaac Arama of Akedat Yitzchak asks this challenge, this question. Is this notion even possible? Not the priests blessing the people. Isaac Arama reminds us it can't be the priests blessing the people. It has got to be the source of creation blessing the people. The Rashbam helps us to understand this. The priests were in fact not commanded to bless the people the way that one human being might bless another. Livriut, to your health, bless you. But rather, the priests were there specifically to invoke divine blessings on them. The blessings flowed from the priests. Ko tivarechu, thus shall you bless. But the priests were merely the conduit for the source. In chapter 6:27, we hear from the source of creation, Va'ani avarechechem, I will bless them. Talmud Hulin says that it is the source that blesses the people, not the priests. Ordained by the Holy One, transmitted to Moses for the priests, specifically for the purpose of the priests passing this on to the people. But I wouldn't be a Reformed Jew if I didn't ask, do we really need priests? And especially post-temple times, what could be the role of Kohanim? Truthfully, not just Reformed Jews, but all Jews recognize that without the temple, the role of Kohanim is nothing more than ceremonial. Yes, it is traditional in some congregations, not in ours, to give the first aliyah on a Torah reading on Shabbat morning first to a Kohen. And it is traditional in many synagogues in Israel and abroad for those who imagine they are descendants from Aaron to come forward for Birkat HaKohanim in the synagogue, to cover their heads, to face the congregation. And you know that I am not of Kohanim because I can't get my trigger finger to close with my ring finger. But apparently there are Kohanim that can. And they come forward and they bless the people during a service when the threefold blessing is delivered. Rashbam shares with us that the priests were not commanded to bless the people, but to be a conduit for the divine, to invoke the divine's blessings on the people. And I think this is important because it tells us something about ourselves. We human beings are merely conduits. The real ask, the real task is that we will be extensions of the divine will, that we will incorporate divinity so that our actions will be according to sacred intentions. the threefold blessing, Birkat HaKohanim, is really just a reminder for the necessity of human cooperation, human deliberation, human intentioning to actualize sacred intention in the world. It's our invitation to integrate our best selves, our better impulse, the spark of the divine within, to welcome and to commit ourselves to the possibility of the sacred in our midst. Invoking human cooperation for the source of creation. A new way to think of blessings. It's essentially our affirming that we buy into the possibility of the sacred. It's an affirmation that we're willing to do the hard work of forging the sacred. What is a blessing? A bracha? A benediction? You know, the threefold blessing is still done in Israel and in different congregations outside of Israel in many different traditions. Some do it daily, some only on Shabbat, some no longer do it, some do it on holidays. But it's interesting that we all bring bracha, blessing, benediction, for life cycle, for birth, for bar mitzvah, for weddings. During the moments where we feel most full of gratitude and most vulnerable, bracha is an expression of gratitude. It is thanks directed to the source. But ultimately, bracha goes back to the root berech, bet resh chaf. And berech literally means knee. Because when we invoke bracha, we can imagine that our knees can bend and we become just a little bit smaller than the tall that we were. We assume just a little less space than where we were before. And this tzimtzum, this making ourselves smaller, this relinquishing some of our own self-righteousness, our own narcissism, our own self-importance, that too teaches us about blessing, about bracha. The priestly benediction that I will dissect tomorrow word for word, understanding the text and the prayer together, can really be understood as, and is referred to as, Brit Shalom, the covenant of peace. So if the individual hopes for shlemut, for wholeness, to be shalem, to be tranquil, to be rooted, to be grounded, to be whole, then the individual really needs to find a posture of tzimtzum in the world. If an individual hopes in their family to have Brit Shalom, the covenant of peace, then the individual needs to make themselves a little bit less of the focal point so that there is ample room for the others. And in our community, and in our world, and with those that we are battling against, if we hope for Brit Shalom, then it is to adopt the stance of Tzimtzum, to make ourselves smaller for a moment, so that we can hear and see, listen to, and respond to the other. On this Shabbat, we are all breathing more freely, knowing that our people, that our loved ones, that our family member and friends in Israel will go to bed tonight protected by the negotiations of a ceasefire. And the people in Gaza will go to sleep tonight knowing that a ceasefire has been reached. But there is no cause for celebration. And there is no victory here. Not for Hamas and not for Israel, even if each side claims victory. When 243 people in Gaza are killed and 12 people in Israel are killed, when the citizens of Gaza and Israel have gone through days of terror, have lost loved ones, there is no celebration and no victory brought about by a simple ceasefire. For nothing really has changed. But if we want to invoke blessing for ourselves, then you will learn tomorrow that blessings must be invoked for the other. May we find the courage, the strength, and the divinity to make ourselves smaller for just enough time and space so as to see the other and to welcome and become the conduit for the sacred in our midst. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom.
Tomorrow morning, our minyan begins at 10 a.m. There are no classes next week, as is our tradition. It is the last week of the month, and I will be out of the synagogue this upcoming week, back for Shabbat next week. Sisterhood meets Thursday at 7 p.m. In June, we have the final 2 sessions of our adult ed taught by board member Professor Mary Warrener. The second half of her limited Zoom series, Torah Now, Reading the World into Torah and Torah into the World, Thursday, June 3rd and June 7th at 7 p.m. Be part of this exciting discussion on issues that are as old as they are new. Outdoor summer services begin on June 4th, and then they'll be followed by outdoor in-person services throughout the month of July and throughout the month of August. We have a whole system so that you know if there's inclement weather what to do. We also have 3 different locations. The first Fridays in Rhinebeck, July in Hasbrook Park, and August in Robert Post Park. All of this information is on our website and throughout our in-person outdoor services. Anyone who cannot be with us outdoors will have the option to live stream so that you can feel outdoors with us as we pray together throughout the summer months. CEHV is pleased to announce our Zimmit Religious School is reopening. In the 2021-2022 school year, school registrations are now being accepted. Our website is presently under construction. Some days it's up, some days it's not, but always you can contact the main office to register your students, and I believe that beginning next week, the website will be open for business as we continue to make new additions to it. While our building remains closed, we are available to you and for you with activities throughout each week and each month. Please reach us by phone, by email, so that we can hear you, respond to you, and help you to be more involved. Page 598. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those who our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. There are many members of our congregation who are in their year of grief, their Shana of mourning. And I am with you as I hold each of your loved ones in my heart at this time. And for the most recent loss, for the Davis family, we are with Jane Davis as she is in her Shiv'ah, together with her sister, for Jane's nephew, Thomas Snell, Yisrael Gibor Mibeit, Ben V'Sarah. So too do we have the yahrzeits of loved ones, Zichronam Levracha, who died in this season in years past. May their memories be for a blessing. Len Kane, remembered by Lenore Kane, her husband. Natalie Robbins Corbin, Amelia Himes, Alan Kahn, Stephen and Benjamin Kahn's father and father-in-law, Harry Kaplan, Seymour Kaplan, Steve Kaplan's father, Nathan Mittenberg, Robert Mittenberg's father, Maddie Samter, Paul Samter, Herman Siegel, Ron Siegel's father, Dr. Samuel Stern, Sarah Bat Harry Venora, Sarah Swan Miller, Marty Miller's wife, Samuel Weisberg, Helene Wetterhahn, and Eva Zappel, Arnie Zappel's mother. May their memories be bound up in the bond of life and love. Kaddish Yatom, 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'alev v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol b'nei Adam v'imru amen. 644, im ein ani li mili, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? Uksha'ani la'atzmi ma ani, but if I am only for myself, what am I? V'im lo akshav ematai, and if not now, when? The time is now.
For myself, who will be for me? She'ani la'atzmi ba'ani. If I am only for myself, what am I? V'im lo achshav emnatai, and if not now, when? Lie, 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 lie.
ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכול אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, asher bara
Elohim
לעשות צברי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן, אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to the source for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.